If you're new with Mercedes-Benz, let me say welcome. If you've been with us for some time and are now just moving into sales, let me offer congratulations. In either case, I'm sure you're excited to have the opportunity to sell the finest production car in the world. Not only will the job provide you with an interesting personal challenge, but the rewards for your efforts can be substantial. As a Mercedes-Benz sales consultant, your ongoing training will consist of product seminars, sales techniques programs, and special information exchange video cassettes which deal with special interest subjects. The intent of all these programs is to give you the information and knowledge you need to successfully sell Mercedes-Benz automobiles. These video cassettes are the first step in doing exactly that. Their objective is threefold. First, we want to introduce you to the company and give you a brief look at Mercedes-Benz history. Second, we're going to give you an overview of the model line as a first step in helping you understand the strategic positioning of the cars. In addition, we're going to spend some time talking about the Mercedes-Benz engineering philosophy that's reflected in every one of our cars. And finally, we're going to spend a good deal of time on basic selling techniques. Even if you've sold automobiles before, we believe you're going to find this segment extremely informative. One last comment, and then we'll give you a look at Mercedes-Benz history. There are two things you're going to discover about selling Mercedes-Benz automobiles. The first is that in the cars themselves, you've got products that can be presented and sold for what they are, namely an extraordinary line of automobiles. As you master the product knowledge, you're going to find that half the fun of selling these cars comes from impressing your customers with the extent to which Mercedes-Benz engineers have gone in order to make Mercedes-Benz truly distinctive. Secondly, because the products are clearly superior to their competitors, you're going to find that Mercedes-Benz automobiles attract a totally different breed of customer from those you might have seen in the average showroom. These people are professional, affluent, knowledgeable, and they come into the dealership expecting to be impressed with the product. Further, because of your association with Mercedes-Benz, most prospects are going to expect you to be totally different from the people who work in your typical car dealership. It's up to you to make sure they're not disappointed. Okay, to begin your orientation to Mercedes-Benz, we're going to look back at the history of the first automaker in the world to celebrate its 100th birthday.
The Mercedes-Benz story is a story of quality, a story of a standard of excellence that began more than a century ago with the words of Gottlieb Daimler, Das Beste oder Nichts, the best or nothing. Daimler was first to see the wide variety of uses for the gasoline-burning internal combustion engine. The success of his first vehicle, a motorcycle, convinced him that by installing his engine in a carriage, he could finally replace the horse. At the same time, Carl Benz, unaware of the work being done by Daimler only 60 miles away, was developing his own vehicle. But while Daimler was installing his engine in a carriage, Benz was creating the world's first automobile from scratch. It was successfully driven in late 1885 and patented on January 29, 1886, which is the birthday of the automobile. Daimler's vehicle made its appearance a few months later. Daimler marketed his engines around the world and was especially successful in France, where the automobile caught on quickly. It was in France in 1894 that the first automobile race was held. The 78-mile event from Paris to Rouen attracted both steam and gasoline-driven vehicles and was the first of many open-road competitions that helped establish the practicality of the automobile. A Peugeot and a Panhard, both with Daimler engines, shared first prize. While Daimler sought new uses for his engines, Carl Benz concentrated on building cars. he was soon a dominant force in the world's infant auto industry. He considered this Victoria a perfected car. And the Velo became the world's first mass-produced automobile when Benz turned out 62 of them in 1894. By 1900, Carl Benz had built 2,000 cars and was the world's leading manufacturer. At the turn of the century, automobiles were, to a great extent, still playthings for the wealthy, and the annual Nice Automobile Week held on the Riviera late each winter gave them an opportunity to show off their vehicles. Austrian entrepreneur Emil Jelinek, who lived in Nice, was an enthusiast who liked power and speed. And he agreed to purchase 36 cars from the Daimler Company if they would build a model that could compete in and win the Nice speed tests. Such a large order gave Jelinek certain prerogatives, one of which was to have the new car named after his daughter, Mercedes. Innovative and technically brilliant, the Mercedes dominated events at Nice and was hailed as the car of the day after tomorrow. We had entered the Mercedes era. To the public, racing continued to be the proving ground for the automobile. And the race of races during the early years of the century was the Grand Prix of the Automobile Club of France. At the 1908 Grand Prix in Dieppe, Christian Lautenschlager drove his Mercedes to victory while averaging 69 miles per hour. Benz cars finished second and third. In 1914, a 1-2-3 Mercedes sweep was greeted by silence from the French spectators as relations between the two countries were growing steadily worse. A month later, Europe was at war. When peace returned, there was a dizzying array of cars to choose from in every country. Mass production, already established in the United States, began to spread across Europe. In a Germany that lay in financial ruin, there were 86 automobile manufacturers, although few persons could even think of owning a car. For two giants of the industry, Daimler and Benz, the road to survival led to amalgamation, which was completed in 1926. The origin of the three-pointed star is clouded by time. Some say it began as Gottlieb Daimler's lucky star. Others say it represented travel on land, sea, and air. It now combined with the Benz wreath, and the name Mercedes-Benz appeared on a growing line of cars. Cars that rolled off the production lines in the 1930s allowed Daimler-Benz to survive this difficult period and remain a major automotive influence. While the decade began with the introduction of a moderately priced car that featured a revolutionary four-wheel independent suspension, cars bearing the Mercedes-Benz symbol continued to represent the ultimate in power, luxury, and quality. Racing added luster to the Mercedes-Benz name as Rudolf Caracciola, Hermann Long, Manfred von Brauchitsch, and others drove the legendary Silver Arrows to victory after victory. The 1930s saw another major achievement with the development of the world's first series production diesel passenger car. But the company's automotive progress came to a halt as Europe was once again plunged into war. On the day the conflict ended, Daimler-Benz had practically ceased to exist. But from the rubble would come a remarkable period of recovery and growth. In a world anxious to get back to the business of living, automobiles were much in demand, and Daimler-Benz set about doing what it did best, producing fine cars. By the early 1950s, new models were ready for the marketplace. To help re-establish the Mercedes-Benz name, the company returned to racing. A new generation of Mercedes drivers, led by the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio and including Sterling Moss and Carl Kling, continued the winning tradition. During the decades that followed, quality was the Daimler-Benz watchword, and the three-pointed star once again represented the best in automotive technology. As the demand for Mercedes passenger cars, commercial vehicles of all sizes and shapes, and industrial engines grew, so too did Daimler-Benz, spreading its production, sales, and service network throughout the world. From only 214 cars built in 1946, the numbers have grown dramatically. This year, more than 500,000 will roll off the assembly lines. The lessons of a century go into the making of every car, truck, and bus. The same hard work and attention to detail that started it all 100 years ago continue to make a Mercedes-Benz the world's most sought-after vehicle. As we enter our second century, we do so guided by the words of Gottlieb Daimler, words that best explain our standards. Das Beste oder nichts, the best or nothing.
no other time in Mercedes-Benz history has there been a more complete and more impressive lineup of cars. The primary objective of this section is to give you an overview of the model line. First, however, we're going to take a moment to be sure you understand the meaning and definition of the model and body style designation numbers and letters. In most cases, the model numbers represent the engine size. For example, a 560 is a 5.6-liter engine. The one exception is found in the 190 class. The original European version did, in fact, carry a 1.9-liter engine. When it came to the United States, it was equipped with a 2.3-liter gasoline engine and a 2.2-liter diesel engine. The letters generally describe engine types, body styles, and the level of luxury features. For example, any car with a D is powered by a diesel engine. And E in the name stands for Einspritz and designates a fuel-injected engine. S is for the German word Sonder, which means superclass and tends to denote luxury appointments, features, and body styles. L indicates an elongated wheelbase. One exception is the 560 SL. The SL is an historic holdover from years ago when Mercedes-Benz built a race car with a super light SL frame. Thus, the origin of this letter designation. Finally, T stands for touring or transport and identifies a station wagon. In your product training, you're going to hear references like the 124 body or the 201. These numbers refer to different body styles. Currently, we have 4, and you should become familiar with each. Starting with the 190 class, the body style is designated as the 201. The 300 class body style is designated as the 124. The S-Class automobiles have a 126 body style, and the SL is a 107. Now that you're familiar with the nomenclature, let's look at each of our automobiles. The 190 class is composed of 5 vehicles. The first is the 190E 2.3 sports sedan, which returns in 1987 with 10% more power. New for 1987 is the 190E 2.6 inline 6 with 158 horsepower of pure performance. This is the first time the 190 class has offered a 6-cylinder sedan. For the efficiency-minded diesel buyer, we offer the 190D 2.5 sedan. This Mercedes-Benz provides all the benefits of diesel economy and durability, plus remarkably quick performance. In 1987, the diesel enthusiast will be able to choose a turbocharged version of the 190D, a 2.5 turbo sedan. This is one of the fastest diesels in the world. Finally, the ultimate 190 class automobile is the 190E 2.316. This 16-valve sports sedan is a limited production vehicle offering unlimited driving excitement. So, there you have the 190 class. 5 redefinitions of the sports sedan idea. 5 classic definitions of Mercedes-Benz. In 1986, a new class of car startled the automotive world with its blend of speed and silence and extraordinary performance. In every sense of the word, the 300 class of Mercedes-Benz automobiles is perhaps the most technically advanced in the world. The 300 class is led by the 300E 6-cylinder sedan, featuring 177 horsepower and 0 to 55 performance in 7.5 seconds. From its multi-link independent rear suspension to its ABS anti-lock braking systems, this automobile represents the leading edge of technology. New for 1987 is the 260E, with a 2.6-liter 6-cylinder engine which is offered as a means of extending the appeal of the 300 class to a wider range of customers. For the diesel enthusiast, we offer the 300D turbo sedan with 148 horsepower. This amazingly quick automobile will go from 0 to 55 in under 10 seconds and achieve a test track speed of 127 miles per hour. Finally, we have the 300TD turbo station wagon that combines Mercedes-Benz elegance with functional versatility. To sum up the 300 class, you have 2 automobiles that represent new standards of gasoline performance and 2 that repeal the laws of diesel. Together, they add up to yet another example of Mercedes-Benz engineering excellence. The ultimate expression of Mercedes-Benz engineering is to be found in the S-Class. We begin with the 300 SDL Turbo, which shares the longest wheelbase chassis that Mercedes-Benz builds. It's powered by a 6-cylinder, 3-liter turbo diesel that combines performance and interior comfort like no other diesel automobile before it. The 420 SEL sedan is powered by a 4.2-liter V8 that's proven itself to be one of the most capable sedans available. The most sporting Mercedes-Benz model is the 560 SL Coupe Roadster, which is regarded by many as the ultimate sports car. Powered by a 5.6-liter engine, this automobile represents the most powerful sports car Mercedes-Benz has ever produced for the consumer market. The flagship of the Mercedes-Benz line is the 560 SEL sedan. Here you have performance, comfort, and quality blended into a sedan that stands above and apart from all others. Finally, the top of the class is the limited production 560 SEC Coupe. It's elegant, sporting, and powered by 238 horsepower, making it one of the performance leaders on the road today. This, then, is the Mercedes-Benz lineup for 1987. 14 individual models, each representing a level of technology, performance, and quality that makes the Mercedes-Benz line the finest production automobiles on the road today. The best or nothing. 4 simple words, one uncompromising concept. This was the personal motto of Gottlieb Daimler, and it is the philosophy which guided Daimler-Benz then and which guides us now. This constant striving to improve our automobiles, the effort to push out the frontiers of excellence, is what differentiates Mercedes-Benz. It's the key to a price-value relationship which is unique in the industry. Unfortunately, many automobile manufacturers are trapped in what we call the commodity syndrome. They sell cars that, for the most part, are nearly identical to those of their competitors. It's a little like selling soap. One product is just about as good as another. There is simply no significant product differentiation. Just the opposite is true with Mercedes-Benz. We work very hard to differentiate our automobiles and to build the kind of value into our products that justifies the price. The key to that value lies in Mercedes-Benz engineering. This is where we truly differentiate ourselves from most other manufacturers. To help you begin to appreciate this difference, we're going to provide you with a basic overview of the Mercedes-Benz engineering philosophy as it relates to aerodynamics, body structure, suspension, the interior design, safety, and the power plants. In designing a Mercedes-Benz, form always follows function. When changes are made in Mercedes-Benz styling, it's because an engineering function has dictated the change. A specific case in point can be found in engineering aerodynamics. In most of today's advertising, manufacturers relate aerodynamics to fuel efficiency, and certainly this is a benefit of improved aerodynamic design. While we're concerned with fuel efficiency, we're also concerned with the impact aerodynamic achievements have on general safety, handling, stability, visibility, and noise. Let me show you several examples of what I mean. The contours on the side of the car may appear to be no more than a styling decision. Quite the contrary, it's a functional decision. The reason is that by carefully shaping the side contours of the car, the engineers have significantly reduced the effects of side winds that can jar a fast-moving automobile to one side or the other. Another example. All Mercedes-Benz automobiles use airflow management to increase the downforce on the front axle, countering the front end's tendency to lift as the speed increases. This results in increased stability at higher speeds. These are just two of the aerodynamic benefits incorporated into the design of the automobile. There are many more. The main thing to understand is that in our engineering philosophy, the function is what determines the form. To put it another way, the look of a Mercedes-Benz is not just the creation of a clever stylist, but the sum total of hundreds of engineering design decisions. Another component of Mercedes-Benz engineering philosophy is reflected in the body structure. Here, the design criteria calls for a rigid passenger shell to protect the occupants in the event of an accident. At the same time, it has to be light enough to contribute to overall fuel efficiency. We pioneered what is known as the monocoque body. This is a single structural unit that offers exceptional rigidity. Virtually every major manufacturer has followed our lead in this area. However, in striving for the best body, we may use up to 6 types of metals, including a new high-strength, low-alloy steel that is significantly stronger than conventional sheet metal. The result is greater structural strength, less weight, and more corrosion resistance. What the customer sees, of course, is the extraordinary fit and finish of the automobile. The philosophy here is simple. We combine the latest technological advances with the dedication of expert craftsmen to produce automobiles of unparalleled quality. In other words, we let the robots do what they do best, the tedious, repetitive jobs that call for day in and day out exacting consistency, and we let the skilled workers concentrate on the demanding, time-consuming, fine finishing that is a hallmark of all our automobiles. The engineering philosophy that governs our suspension systems is one that at first seems contradictory. We want all our automobiles to have the agility and nimbleness of the single-purpose sports car, yet with the smooth, comfortable, stable ride that is associated with the luxury sedan. The secret of the Mercedes-Benz dual personality lies primarily in the type of suspension employed by the engineers. Every model benefits from a fully independent suspension. The specific design may vary from model to model, but the results are the same. The main advantage of a fully independent suspension is the ability to allow each wheel to react independently to every bump and dip without affecting any other wheel and without transferring the jolt to the body. Fully independent suspension also improves handling responsiveness by keeping the maximum possible tire surface on the road at all times. When one wheel is kicked up by a bump, the other 3 remain in firm contact with the road surface. Our 5-link rear suspension design has the ability to move the rear wheels through a controlled, predictable pattern so that bumps or lateral forces create minimal impact on steering control. You can read more about this and the other suspension systems in your product information manual. When it comes to the interior of a Mercedes-Benz, the engineering philosophy is guided by safety, which we'll talk about in detail in a moment, and by the science of ergonomics. Ergonomics is the science of making man and machine more compatible. As you sit behind the wheel, you begin to understand how that translates to a Mercedes-Benz. All the controls fall easily to hand. You don't have to lean forward to turn on the radio or adjust the climate control. Everything is within easy reach. When it comes to the seats, you'll find them firmer than those in most cars. The reason simply is because a firm seat can provide more orthopedic support. This support helps minimize physical fatigue during long drives, which helps keep the driver more alert, and at the same time provides lumbar support for the millions of Americans with back problems. While the best or nothing is our philosophy, the passion for safety is our commitment. As you may know, the federal government began placing an emphasis on automotive safety in the late 60s. Mercedes-Benz, on the other hand, has been seriously studying ways of protecting the occupants of our automobiles since the 1930s. Today, our automobiles not only meet all the federal safety requirements, but in some cases we exceed them. Basically, when we talk about safety, we refer to 2 types, active and passive. Active safety refers to those features and systems which gives the driver the ability to avoid accidents. Passive safety is the automobile's capacity for protecting the occupants. Let me give you several examples of each, starting with active safety. First, there's the steering and suspension systems, which permit the driver to make sharp, evasive maneuvers at high speeds without losing control of the automobile. This is not something you'd want to try in an ordinary car. Second, Mercedes-Benz offers the anti-lock braking system, generally referred to as ABS. This comes standard on all our automobiles with the exception of the 190E 2.3 and 190D 2.5, where it is offered as an attractive option. Now, let me show you a film that explains the system and its benefits to your customers.
It's absolutely incredible. I've never experienced anything like this.
Going into it at 40, 45 miles an hour, I fully expected to lose control. It was fabulous.
I stayed on the brake all the way through the turn. It felt very secure, very controlled.
I was amazed. I wish I had it on my car right now, to be very true with you. I'd feel a lot safer.
At first, you might wonder what all the excitement is about. The driver slams on the brakes, and it comes to a dead stop. It looks easy, until you see a competitive car without the anti-lock braking system try the same thing. As soon as the wheels lock up, the driver's lost control. Even in those instances where it's not necessary to come to a full stop, the ABS system helps you maintain control in the turn. Without ABS, your automobile becomes a sled. No matter how hard he tries, with the wheels locked, it's virtually impossible to control the direction of the car. To help you better understand the anti-lock braking system, we set up a test to create a situation in which surface conditions vary on either side of the road. The driver is approaching the skid area at about 45 miles per hour. He hits the brakes and the wheels lock up. Steering control is virtually impossible. Now, watch the Mercedes-Benz with ABS. Same speed, same conditions. By definition, ABS is a system which electronically prevents the wheels from locking during the braking process. In this side view of the car, you can see ABS in action. As the wheel approaches lockup, the system eases the braking pressure, and it starts to rotate again. Should the wheel approach lockup again, the control cycle is repeated. Here are two more examples of ABS performance. Here's a similar test. As you can see, the Mercedes equipped with ABS is able to maintain control and steer the car out the escape port. The anti-lock braking system is a sophisticated piece of engineering that Daimler-Benz began developing as far back as 1959. And while engineers all over the world have praised it as one of the most important contributions to road safety, possibly no one speaks more eloquently of its performance and benefits than people like yourself.
After driving the Mercedes with the ABS on it, I can't see how anyone would not want to have a car without that braking system.
And the steering was precise. It went exactly where I wanted to go. It put me in control.
So it's an incredible safety feature as far as I'm concerned. Wouldn't want to drive a car in the snow without it.
My next car will have ABS on it.
I'm certainly glad that the Mercedes, which I just took delivery on, is equipped with the ABS system.
Now let's look at passive safety. The first and most obvious example of passive safety is our supplementary restraint system.
Automobile passenger safety has received increasing attention in the United States in recent years. At Mercedes-Benz, passenger safety has always been of great concern. The company built a safety prototype as far back as the 1930s. Today, every Mercedes-Benz automobile carries as standard equipment a comprehensive passenger safety system. The Mercedes-Benz philosophy embraces both active safety, helping the driver to avoid trouble before it happens, and passive safety, measures designed to help protect the car's occupants if an impact ultimately should occur. Standard on all Mercedes-Benz automobiles is the Supplemental Restraint System. SRS consists of a driver's side airbag and padded knee bolster, supplementing the driver's seatbelt. ETR, or emergency tensioning retractors, is also standard in every new Mercedes-Benz. In the event of a major frontal impact, the ETR is designed to instantaneously and automatically tighten the driver's and front passenger's three-point seatbelt, thus enhancing occupant restraint. A major frontal impact triggers a sensitive electronic device which signals the airbag to deploy and inflate fully within a fraction of a second, cushioning the driver's head and upper body and minimizing risk of contact with the steering wheel. Simultaneously, of course, the emergency tensioning retractors, ETR, tighten both front seatbelts. The entire sequence takes less time than the blink of an eye. 15 years of development and 450 million miles of use worldwide attest to the precision and reliability of this restraint system. In the unlikely event that the system were to be triggered accidentally, normal driving functions could continue. Fore and aft body sections are carefully designed to progressively yield under the force of a major impact, absorbing kinetic energy before its full force can penetrate to the passenger area within. The fuel tank is mounted deeply inboard. The steering column is designed to yield in a front or oblique impact. This advanced design, along with features such as SRS and ABS, give the Mercedes-Benz owner an extra measure of safety.
In addition to the supplemental restraint system, a Mercedes-Benz is designed to provide optimum protection to the passenger in the event of a severe accident. To begin, as we've already pointed out, the passenger shell is extremely rigid. This rigidity gives it the ability to resist crushing in a rollover or side collision, thus providing the greatest possible protection for the occupants. In the event of a front-end collision, the front end has been designed with crumple zones, which permit the car to literally crumple at a controlled rate to help absorb some of the force of the impact. Finally, the steering column is designed to collapse under impact to help reduce the possibility of severe driver injury. What we've shown you are just some of the ways that Mercedes-Benz engineers exhibit their concern for active and passive safety. This brings us to the last item on our list, the power plants. Once again, the best or nothing is the guiding philosophy. We build two different kinds of engines, gasoline and diesel. Each is matched to a specific car in the model line, and each reflects the basic character of the car it serves. Because of the time limitation on this tape, we're going to confine our engine presentation to a brief overview. Let's start with the diesels. First, we have a 5-cylinder, 2.5-liter diesel engine with an overhead camshaft and mechanical fuel injection. While many non-Mercedes owners tend to think of a diesel as slow and lacking response, our 2.5 provides surprising responsiveness at a remarkable level of fuel and operating efficiency. For increased performance, we offer a 2.5 turbocharged version of this engine, which boosts the horsepower by 33% and the torque by 38%. The third engine is a 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel with a displacement of 3 liters. The key thing to remember about this engine is that it compares very favorably with many gasoline engines in performance, while delivering overall maintenance and operating economy far in excess of most gasoline engines. The first of our gasoline engines is an inline 2.3-liter engine that develops 130 horsepower. It offers a combination of mechanical electronic fuel injection, KE3, which provides good engine performance, fuel economy, and low exhaust emissions. If for any reason the electronics should fail, the mechanical system will take over and let the driver get to a service facility. This is followed by our 2.6-liter inline six-cylinder engine. It delivers 158 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It's available with either a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission. Next, we have a 2.3-liter power plant with 16 valves. What this means is that each of the 4 cylinders has 4 valves, 2 for air intake and 2 for exhaust. This allows for a 25% increase in airflow through the combustion chamber, which leads to a significant increase in performance. Specifically, 167 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. The 4th engine is a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder gasoline-powered engine. This engine produces 177 horsepower. Like the 4-cylinder, it has mechanical electronic fuel injection, KE3. This is a proven injection system which measures the air entering the engine. This system is able to constantly fine-tune the mixture of air and fuel to assure peak performance and minimum emissions under all types of load and weather conditions. Finally, we have 2 V8 engines. The first is a 4.2-liter with single camshafts over each bank of cylinders. It too has mechanical electronic fuel injection, KE3, along with electronic ignition. This is a microprocessor-controlled system that determines the best and most precise ignition times for maximum power output and fuel efficiency. The top of the line is our 5.6-liter V8. It offers all the benefits of the 4.2-liter engine, but with an additional 1.4 liters of displacement. To put it simply, this engine represents the state-of-the-art in engine technology. Okay, so there's a quick review of our engineering philosophy and its applications to the systems in our vehicles. Between now and the time you begin your formal product training, you should study your product and sales information material and take the time to look at the owner's manuals in each car. These will provide a great deal of detailed information. Remember, many of your customers consider themselves experts when it comes to Mercedes-Benz. You'll go a long way toward winning their confidence and their business if you can demonstrate that you're the product expert that they expect you to be.